go time. It is go time. Let's see if people come in the chat. Let's see if I did this the right way. Let's see if we beat Eric. So Eric hasn't texted yet. As soon as we start, though, Eric will text. All right. Oh, we got Zach in the chat. First one in the chat. Let's go. Very good. How you doing, Zach? How's everything going? We got Tim in the chat, number two in the chat. Very good. All right. We are in action. We are in business over here. Zach said he's popping. Love to see it. KT's in the chat. Very good. Guys, let's see if we could beat the record this week. We have not beat the record in 4 weeks. The record is 661 people. Let's see if we can do it. We need engagement. We need the chat popping. We need to get it popping, as Zach said. Gene Queen in the chat. Love to see it. How's everybody doing today? Get your questions in early so that way I can get everybody knocked out. Please get the questions in early. That way we can get everybody knocked out and everyone leaves happy. Everyone gets their question answered. We beat Eric today. Usually Eric beats us on sending the receipt on how good the store did, but he's 1 minute late. So we beat Eric today. Beautiful thing. All right, get the questions in the chat. Where is everybody from? Who is the furthest away? We got someone from Australia already, New Zealand already, South Georgia, Tallahassee. That's pretty close, Matthew. Who is the closest? Who is the farthest? How about that? All right, how you doing, Sarah? You're in the building. All right, first question from Jonathan Molina. Can you explain how to shape hats after running them in the washer and the dryer? So there's a lot of ways to do it. You could do it with your hands. It's kind of just reshaping the dome to make sure that it is not going to crush or crease or anything like that. Some people use one of those plastic cages. They put the hat on top of it, let it sit on that. Some people use a balloon. Some people put some plastic bags inside of it. There's a whole bunch of different ways. Just the idea behind it is make sure it's not going to sag as it dries off, because then it's going to dry with some creases, some bends, some folds on it. So you want to make sure it remains, the integrity of the dome remains intact. So that way, when it does dry fully, it doesn't look like a huge mess. So you just kind of want to work it a little bit with your hands. I kind of stack them together, slide them into each other. And like I said, some people use the baskets, the plastic cages, balloons, whatever you want to do. You just got to maintain the integrity of the dome. That's the most important part of it. So the title today is How Resellers Are Making More Money in 2024. If you are a reseller, if you're in the chat, or if you're in the comments later, I'd love to hear from you in the comments later. How are you making more money in 2024? Let me know. Give us the good news. Give us a tip that somebody else could use. How are we making more money in 2024? Because that's the name of the game, guys. If we are not making more money, that's unfortunate, because the bills are going up and the bills are due every single day. So we got to fight for it. If there is a will, there is a way. We can get it figured out. So everyone in the chat, there's over 100 people in the chat already, 3 minutes in. Give us your tips. Give us your best tips on how you're making more money this year. I want to hear it. I'm generally interested in how people are making more money. Generally interested. Miguel says, is this the time and place? Wednesday, 8 p.m. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, baby. You'll see us every single week doing the live Q&A. Manu, the French guy, all the way from Paris. Love to see it. eBay question: if a buyer leaves positive feedback, can they still return the item within the 30-day window? Feedback left or not left is no bearing whatsoever at all, whether or not a buyer can return the item or not. If someone leaves you a positive feedback, they can return the item. Someone leaves you a negative feedback, they can return it. Someone leaves you a neutral, they can return it. If someone leaves no feedback, they can return it. So just because they do leave positive feedback, that has no weight, no bearing on whether or not they can return the item. We got Figgy Flips. I believe that's Yesenia in the chat. Sometimes the cat bill is wonky. Is that fixable? It's tough. Like if it has a break, so there's either a little piece of plastic or a piece of cardboard in it, depending on the age of the hat. If it is broken, technically speaking, you could do a brim swap and you can take it off and sew another one back on, but like that's like high level stuff outside of like what most eBayers are capable of. but just note it. If it's broken, let somebody else deal with it. A lot of people do like to take on the projects. A lot of people, especially for the crazy expensive hats, they like to do the restoring. So it's not, end of the game if the brim is broken or if the brim does have wear, but it's not the best thing either. So sometimes that cardboard can get soggy if you do wash it. That happens sometimes. It could get flimsy, it can get brittle. Sometimes that does happen. Not a lot, maybe one out of every few hundred that does happen, but it does happen. So just note it. Or you could do a brim swap if you really want to rock and roll. If you want to rock and roll, Yassine, you could do a brim swap if you want. Very good. If you have a question, do like Licinia did and put 3 question marks in the beginning so it's easy for me to identify it, because I don't want to miss people's questions and the chat gets popping and I want to answer every single question that comes through. So throw some question marks in the beginning and it'll make it easy for me to identify them. All right, chat's popping. I love it. Trista, first time here live. You said that you wash all eBay items. Do you wash items with tags also? So I do wash every single item. I do this for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, it is eBay's policy for pre-owned clothing that everything is washed per eBay standards. What eBay standards is, not defined, but I wash everything. So my workflow is come in the house, bust a left, bring everything to the laundry room, everything gets washed. And I do this for the main reason is that everything is washed so that way when it gets to the photo station and it does have a flaw, that the item has already been washed, it's already been treated, it's already been prepped. That is the best that item is ever going to be. Rather than take everything to the listing station, not wash it, identify a flaw, and now this item goes this way and it sits into, a huge pile of items that we need to wash, items that we need to work on, items that we need to restore, repair, things like that. So everything that I list gets washed immediately. After that goes to the listing station. So if we do identify a flaw, we photograph the flaw, it keeps on moving straight in the assembly line. It doesn't go to the side for a project later or to get dealt with later. I never want money sitting to the side, sitting in a pile, not working for me. So I wash everything for number one, eBay policy. Number two, when it gets to the photo station, if it does have a flaw, it keeps moving forward and it's already been dealt with. That's the best it's ever going to be. So a lot of people are saying consistency is working. Freddie Red Ruby Treasure say consistency is working. That does work, believe it or not. Consistency does work, believe it or not. Did you guys catch the eBay news today? Say yes, no. Did you catch the eBay news today? eBay and the company Collectors have entered into a commercial agreement. They signed deals for the acquisition of Golden Auctions, which many of you may have know for their Netflix TV show, but they've been around for a very long time in the sports card, autograph, memorabilia space. So eBay has acquired Golden Auctions and the eBay Vault, which if you're not familiar with that, eBay has a program where they will store your expensive cards for you. So that way you have no liability. If your house burns down, your cards are safe at the Vault. The Vault has been acquired by PSA, and PSA is a grading card company. So PSA is going to take over the eBay Vault. eBay, I believe, is going to have a new iteration of the Vault in collaboration with Golden, which they now have acquired. So that is big news for the eBay machine. And we were just talking about this on the media call a moment ago, right before I jumped on in the group. And, eBay's doing a lot of stuff. We give eBay a lot of grief, but eBay behind the scenes, they're doing a lot of stuff. They're making a lot of improvements, especially these last couple of years. A lot of years they sat on their hands and didn't do much, but hey, at least they're trying. I want them to try. They're taking on the real. They're going to do consignment with Linda's stuff. So they're going after the real. They're going after the card market, memorabilia, autographs. They're going after that very hard. And even if it doesn't work for me, I love to see it. At least they're trying. We got to try at something. So that's good news coming out of the eBay machine today. A lot of people, consistency is working. What else is working, guys? What else is working in 2024? I would love to know. Tina says buying better inventory and listing. Very good. We could buy all the better inventory we want, but if we don't list it, it doesn't matter. Francisco said he should be going to sleep for the graveyard shift, but he's got to level up. My man, if you got to go to sleep for work, you can catch me on the replay. You have permission to miss the live. Catch me in the comments on the replay. And anyone who is on the replay, if you haven't got your question in or you didn't catch the live, post your question in the comments. I answer everything, and I'll knock out your questions in the comments as well. Elle says her Poshmark closet is a total flop. Should I just get rid of everything and give up just selling women's clothes? I'm making $0. Well, we're going to need a little bit more information. Are they good items? Are they listed correctly? Are they priced way above market? It's hard to say. Maybe shoot your store in my Instagram. I'll try to take a look, see if we can get you fixed up, because making zero is no fun at all. Nick Foles, if you could pick only 3 brands to sell for clothing, what would it be? I would probably go Nike because it's sells all day, every single day. It might not sell for a tremendous amount, but it's Old Faithful. I'll pick Polo because even though some of it is not good, a lot of it is good. And I know the good Polo stuff, so I think I could make a full-time living just off selling Polo. Number 3. All right, here you go, Nick. Using my thinker here. I'm going Nike. I'm going Polo. And in the chat, what would your third brand be? Third brand. Let's see if anyone out big brains me on this one. What is your third brand that you would sell? Using my thinker. I'm going Roebuck. With a 800% sell through. I'm going Nike. I'm going Polo. I'm going Roebuck at my store. Nick, how do you like that? Nick, what are your 3? What are your 3 brands? What are the chat's 3 brands? If you could list 3 brands and 3 brands only, what would they be? Thrifty Mommy Co says sourcing better items that the buyer wants. Very important. At any point when you were doing eBay by yourself, how did you handle extended illness when you were basically sourcing items the same day? The draft bank method is what I'm currently using. So thankfully, knock on wood, I never had any huge bouts with any kind of long-term, extreme, extended illness, really during any time in my life. So thank goodness for that. I've been very fortunate. I think draft bank is the way to go. You know, you got to try to get out a few days, a few weeks ahead of time. And that way, if you do go down for a couple of days, it's all good. Also, it's not a bad idea to have some sort of SOP, standard operating procedure, where you can write down steps where you have a loved one, you have a son, daughter, husband, neighbor, friend, family member. They can come over to your store and they can at least turn it off. Turn it off, make sure that no bids are coming in, put it on vacation mode, put it on time away, extend the handling time. That way, if you really do go down for an extended period of time, you're laid up in the hospital, they at least have steps. I would also train them in this periodically, maybe once every 2 or 3 months. Say, hey, let me show you how to do this. It'll take 2 minutes. Show them how exactly to put your store on vacation mode, extend the handling time 30 days if need be. That way, you're not racking up a lot of sales. And also maybe teach them the basics of how to print labels. That way they can at least get you a clean slate. Maybe you have 5 that got to go out. They can knock out your 5, send them out, and then put you on vacation mode. That way, stop the bleeding so that, you don't have a bunch of sales coming in and no way to get them out. So those are the 2 things that I would do. I would have that draft bank, couple of weeks, maybe 7 to 10 days, and then have somebody trained where they can ship a couple items out in an extreme emergency and or turn the store off if it's really, really, really a problem. And, if you do got a problem, eBay's eBay. We got to, care for ourselves, care for our loved ones. If we're in the hospital, kids are in the hospital, loved ones are in the hospital, turn off eBay. It'll be there when we get back. It's all good. We got to make sure that first and foremost, we're okay. eBay will be there. eBay will understand. The algorithm will understand. It'll be okay. So I think draft bank and then have someone, a little SOP written down and periodically updating, periodically refreshing how to do the basics of shipping and how to turn the store off. Vandy says they're bidding on better abandoned units, moving better products. Very good. Angie said so far they're having good luck looking for collections. Very good. Jeezy said the eBay store got banned a long time ago, and am I able to open up a new one with an LLC, or I just keep getting banned? I don't know, my man. I have 0 experience in getting banned from the eBay machine. Schnoza says research and doing more, applying the information that you see. Very good. You guys are doing good. Very good. We got Michelle in the chat, reseller project. Love to see her in the building. Thank you, Michelle, for sliding through, helping out with the moderation. We appreciate it. Chat just jumped. I think the chat's going to keep me busy tonight, guys. Question, why not steam instead of wash? I don't own a steamer. I didn't even know steamers were a thing until I started talking to people that were resellers. I think that it's not faster. You could throw 20, 30, 50 items in the washer, they're all done, rather than steaming is much more slower. And I'm all for speed and efficiency for me. Why does eBay not have more of a backbone for the seller? I think that they do. Every single time I've called eBay, big seller or small seller, when I came with the truth, when I came with seller protections that I had to quote from the website and say, hey, this is where I'm protected by. Every single time that I did that, eBay was more than happy to cover me. And inside of the group, we have a morning call that I did on December 12th, 12/12, that went through all of the seller protections. And a lot of sellers don't know the protections. And that is a large part of the problem why a lot of sellers get frustrated. They don't know that we have protections. So please, I'm begging everybody out there, after this video, go learn eBay seller protections. Go to the Google machine and put eBay seller protections and read every single page, read every single link on there, and you too will have coverage, and we do not have to run a scared eBay business. Jonathan said, quickest way to prep stains before washing them in the washer. Do you just wash them as is? So you could spray some stuff on there. You know, you got a little shout, you got a little grandma's secret solution. You have LA is totally awesome. You could do a little bit of that, a little scrub, a little toothbrush action, throw it in the washer. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen after that. What is the best practice with pricing? Price, which also includes shipping and buyer pays for return, or do you also pay for the return? Tracy, good question. So there are two different returns. One is buyer's remorse. One is item not as described. For buyer's remorse reasons, those are found a better price, no longer want, change mind, wrong size, doesn't fit, no longer need. All of those are buyer's remorse. For buyer's remorse reasons, the seller does not have to refund or reimburse the original shipping. For item not as described, arrived damaged, missing parts or pieces, broken, not as pictured. For the item not as described reasons, the seller does have to issue a refund for the original shipping. So if it's a buyer's remorse, the seller does not have to issue the refund for the original shipping. If it's item not as described, the seller does have to issue the refund for the original shipping. What if it's stuff that is dry clean only? For me personally, I have not ruined anything that was dry clean only. You have to be careful for wool and things like that. So, you know, do your due diligence, do your research, make sure that you can wash it. If you do want to dry clean it, you may. I am not eBay. I am not the policy police. If you want to spot clean it, whatever you want to do, I'm just telling you what the guideline is, my procedure on the guideline. I'm washing everything. But I am not eBay. I am not the policy police. I am not even the boss of you. So if you want to spot treat, if you want to use a steamer, whatever you want to do, the guideline says pre-owned clothing must be clean to eBay standards. The rest is up to you. I'm just telling you what my procedure is. I walk in the door, I bust a left, everything goes in the washer, everything goes in the dryer, everything's ready to get photographed. That's what I do. So Snooza says they have wasted so much time prepping for not washing it at all first, but I've rectified that problem and washed everything first. That's the way to go, my man. Aaron says, how you feeling about the Marlins so far? I don't really keep up with them a whole bunch. I think last time I looked, like they were winless. I don't really keep up a lot of them. I got too much going on, but 1-11, very good. I love it. I love 1-11 Marlins, Aaron. I love it. All right, so a lot of people didn't know about the big news. Happy to give you it here. Tammy, I appreciate that. Alyssa said they also sent an email about promoted listing change on April 15th. Very good. Check the email. Did you find out how Old Mate went without promoted listings from the other week? I think you have a typo in there. Snoozer, you're going to have to redo that one. Oh, Debbie, hello from Plant City. Let's go. That's a good flea market. It's about 4 hours from my house, but it's a good flea market. Benjamin said they found Whatnot to be a good way to get rid of inventory quicker. It is a way to get inventory, to get rid of inventory quicker. However, you're not going to get all the money most of the time. If you want all the money, you probably have to do all the work, photos, list, all of that good stuff, and then wait a little bit longer. It is a good method to, as you said, get rid of inventory. Absolutely. It is a good method for that. Sometimes you can realize all the money. Sometimes you could realize half the money. Sometimes you realize a buck. That is the gamble that you take on Whatnot. But you can build a beautiful business on top of that. Absolutely. Benny says they found out about the Golden Auction acquisition and PSA already had the vault. So wondering why PSA bought eBay Vault. Maybe eBay was taking away some of their business. Probably so. That you probably nailed it right there, Benny. Unique says, what is the best time to leave feedback? I was leaving feedback when item delivered, backfired when a bad apple lied. I was forced to take a return. My positive feedback is still sitting on the profile. So this is the thing. Sellers cannot leave anything other than positive feedback. We cannot leave a neutral. We cannot leave a negative. We can't do anything. All we could do is leave a positive feedback. If you want to hold your feedback ransom until they leave a feedback, that's up to you. Your problem. Since we cannot leave anything other than positive, there's really no reason to gamify it or to have some sort of strategy. If you want to leave feedback, leave it. If you don't want to leave feedback, don't leave it. Feedback is kind of pointless on eBay, but it's part of, the eBay journey and the fun of it. But we can't leave anything but a positive, so it doesn't matter when you leave it or even if you leave it. JC in the chat, how you doing all the way from the UK? I appreciate it. Matthew said relationship building. Boldness is helping my sourcing and profitability. Very good. Nice. All right. So Aaron said he would go his third brand, Arc'teryx. Trepa says Lily Pulitzer. Laura, I like it. Viore, great brand. Fireball said Ariat, very good. Christian says Gap. You're going third brand Gap, Christian? Hats off to you, my man. Carhartt, Freddie says Filson. There you go. So Steven said he saw me at the flea market on Saturday. He wanted to say what's up, but I had my head down in a bag full of hats. Didn't want to interrupt you. Hey, if you see me say what's up, I always got time to say hello. I could get back to the hats, don't worry. But you see me out there, I'm on the move. I'm moving, popping, shaking, getting as much stuff as I possibly can. So Nick says the original question, he said he likes the lineup. His top three, he would go Polo, Patagonia, and Nike. That's respectable. That's respectable. Patagonia, you really can't lose on Patagonia. I'm with you, Nick. I'm okay with that. Michael says, where can I get one of those T-shaped rulers that you use to measure clothing for the pictures? So those ones are on resellerruler.com. Those are on resellerruler.com. Vicky says they are running a 20% off sale in eBay and also have a 20% coupon. That's an additional 20% off, I assume, but most of the offers I'm receiving are higher than the coupon. It does happen like that. That is an actual real thing. So a 20% markdown sale and a 20% offer in the chat. 20% markdown, 20% coupon. 20% markdown, 20% coupon. What percent off is that of the original price? 20% coupon, 20% markdown. Is that 40% off the original price? Or is it not? 20% off markdown, 20% off coupon. Is that 40% off the original price? Or is it 20% off of 20% off? But yeah, people do send offers higher than the coupon. That is a phenomenon. Shaw says Melanzana. Never found it before. I've never found it either, but that's a crazy brand. I'm on the lookout for that one. I have never found that one before. Jacob said he'd go Nike Polo, Travis Matthew, Icebreaker. That's a good one too. Not like Sears Roebuck. RHOBUCK or BUCH. RHOBUCH, I believe. It has like a 600% sell through. Yeah, you got it. Uh, oh, chat jumps. I'm in trouble. I am in trouble. Hold on. All right. Did you ever try setting up at the flea market or a clothing show before opening up the brick and mortar? I've been using in-person shows to get rid of death pile stock. I have never personally done that myself. Um, so I don't have any experience with it. I'm sure there's plenty of money to be made over there. I just have never done it personally. Vasquez Vince is in the chat. Love to see it. Nayla in the chat. Love to see it. Yeah, you guys got it. Roebuck, whatever. I'm from Florida. Guys, I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida. We talk different. We mispronounce stuff. It's just the way it goes. Roebuck. Potato, tomato. We can't spell. We can't talk. I'm from Florida. Do you know the process to get bulk shipping rates for medium mail items? I know there's a certain quantity. There is. You just got to reach out to UPS or Pitney Bowes, one of the companies, and they have different thresholds. And when you reach the thresholds, then they give you the deal. So you just have to reach out to the different companies, and they have whole divisions for business customers and commercial customers, things like that. It's really easy to do. Justin said he has been here for 4 weeks in a row on the live stream. Let's go. I think this is number 13. Has anyone been here for all 13 of the live streams? Please, has anyone been here for all 13? Dime Pincher says, where did you find your employees? How did you train them? How did you keep them happy and wanting to stay? Yeah, I've always had great luck in asking friends or asking family if they know anybody that's good. Because if you keep a good circle, they also keep good circles. Like it's difficult for someone that knows you to recommend somebody that's not good. And they'll give you their honest opinion. They'll say, I don't know about this guy. So I've always had good luck either hiring family and then asking them if they know anybody, or another employee for another business. I would say, hey, do you know anyone that wants to do this? And they say, yeah, sure. So a lot of the workers that I got ended up coming from the landscape company, their extended family, or they came from my wife's family, or but this is the thing. If you hire family, you have to make sure that you are willing to fire family. If you hire people that you know, you have to be willing to fire people that you know. So that is very important, and that is a very tough decision. But it made it a lot easier for me to come to the understanding, come to the terms that firing is a possibility, because we hire for the health of the business. We also have to fire for the health of the business, unfortunately. So I got lucky. I have a pretty good circle of people. I ask them, and if you surround yourself with good people, most often than not, good people surround themselves with good people, and then it's easy to get a recommendation. So everyone that has worked for me has worked for me for multiple years. I don't have too many people that come and go. It's multiple years. I try to keep everybody happy. Try to be, a great boss, understanding, yet firm. I am very firm, but it must not be too bad if everyone stays for 2, 3, 5 years plus. So I've always had good luck asking people around me. Yeah, Michelle is right. The chat is fire tonight. You guys are coming with the good stuff tonight. Very good. Jesse K said steamers aren't for cleaning. They help to remove wrinkles. Hot take from Jesse K. They said it. I didn't. I'm on board with you, though. They said it. I didn't. That's why I put it in the washer and the dryer. Do you find any value including a thank you card, leave positive feedback reminder for orders, or how do you motivate buyers to leave feedback without being too pushy? I do think that there is value to it. I also think that there's value to that communication. I also think that there's value letting the customer know who you are, what kind of business you are. If you're a huge conglomerate, maybe there's value in letting them know that you are that. If you are not a huge conglomerate, maybe there's value in letting them know that, hey, I'm just a guy from Florida selling items, doing the best that I can. If I made a mistake, I apologize. It was an oversight. It was not intentional. Send me a message. I respond to everything immediately. Happy to accept the return. I have 30-day free returns. I answer all questions instantly, and I appreciate business says thank you for the heads up on the reseller protections. Been studying much more peace of mind. Very, very good. Sounds good. Sounds excellent. Very good. What else do we got? So home business says thank you for the heads up on the reseller protections. Been studying much more peace of mind. Very good. What else do we got in the chat? Nayla says thank you. Thank you. Is that a Tech and Sports merch sample that you're wearing? This here, my wife's sister who used to work with us for probably 5 years, she saved up some money, her and her husband. They moved to a much nicer part of Florida in the north part. They started a t-shirt company. They made me some of these nice t-shirts. And that's what we're doing. That's where we're at. So maybe she'll make some for you guys. I know you guys have been asking. So on May 1st, I'm going to launch some t-shirts. May 1st, you guys. May 1st, I will launch some shirts just for you guys because you guys have been asking. And also it will support her business and everyone's happy. If I can help other people out, if I can throw other people some bones, I'm happy to do so. Trish says, when your store is on time away, are listings you launch, whether new or from Draft Bank, covered under the time away? I don't want any live listings, but I want to keep the store active. So you have to be a little bit careful on that. And what I would do is I would launch an item and make sure that that item that went live is on the time away. If you make an item live and it's not time away, then you got to press the brakes and you have to see what's going on. So make sure that when you are on time away, do one test listing and make sure that it is on the extended schedule, the time away schedule. Make sure. But it's supposed to be, but you have to make sure. Better to have one store on eBay or different stores for different product types. I believe one store, unless you're really going to build a brand and all of that good stuff, unless you're really going to build a brand, I think that one store is good. Because people shop on eBay. They don't shop on dudeballstore at ebay.com. Nick Foles said he tried finding the bolo in the last video, the Sports Illustrated for Kids magazine. Yeah, it's tough, man. That's a tough one to find. They have the Charlie Woods rookie card in there. That one is going to be worth a couple dollars one of these days. Carrie at home, late to the party. She's asking what the big news is. Carrie at home, you got to go all the way back to the beginning. You got to go back to the beginning, Carrie. Liz is new from Texas. Very good. Nice to see you. How you doing? Any recommendations for promoting listings percentage for the average Joe? It really depends on what your items are. If you have great items, you don't need any promoted listings. If you have horrible items with horrible listings, you might need to promote those very high where it prices you out of making profits. So you have to be really careful. I can't give a blanket recommendation for promoted listings. It's an item by item, case by case basis, unfortunately. Did Polo remake the Polo RL76 Grand Prix graphic t-shirt merch? I believe that they did. They've been remaking a lot of that stuff. Slice Keeper said, did everyone's monthly selling limits get removed? We talked about that probably a month and a half ago. I don't know if everyone's got removed, but a lot of people's did get removed. Bob says they sell Hot Wheels, Premium, Johnny Lightning, and other die-cast cars. Is there anyone in the group that specializes in this area? So we do have a great toy call. Shout out to Mike from Colorado. He runs the toy call. There are people that do sell die-cast. There's a guy named Ben in the group. He's very knowledgeable. He does sell die-cast. So there are people in there. You can, talk to other toy sellers. I love the toy call. It's great. Best way to source vintage tea is go to where they are at. So for me personally, um, they don't have a lot of vintage in the thrift stores. So I had to go to the flea markets. I had to go to garage sales. For whatever reason, my district doesn't want vintage items, distressed items, anything with flaws or holes, fading. They don't want any of that inside of the thrift store. So I had to go to the flea market and the garage sale to find those. You might have to go to the rag house. You might have to go other places, but oh, chat jumped. I'm in big trouble. Big trouble now. Holy cow, big trouble. All right, we're back. All right, we have a lot of mathematical geniuses in the chat. I'm happy to hear that. 20% off, 20% off. That's right. So is it 40%? That is the question, guys. Um, Requesting many more Disney World off the dome Bolo videos. I don't know. Do you guys still want to see him? I did too. I don't know if you guys want to see any more Bolo videos. I could do as many as you guys want, but I don't know if you guys really want to see them. If you had to pick one niche within sports apparel, would it be championship stuff, national brands? If I had to pick one niche, it would probably be NFL football stuff, just because it's the most popular. So Nick Foles says you weren't lying. 700 items listed for Roback and over 3,100 sold. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Once upon a time, it was like 150 active and like 800 sold. So a lot of people are getting hip to the brand. It's good right now, and eventually the tides will turn, and it won't be as great as it is, but for right now, we got to get it while it's going. So Carrie says today, and she is from Missouri. Carrie said she just learned how to say, and now I don't know how to say it. Hold on. Now I don't know how to say it. Chamois. Now I forgot how to say it. Carrie, you screwed me up. How do you say it in the chat? Phonetically spell it out in the chat, please. What do you think about eBay wiping all seller fees for private clothing sellers in the UK while US business sellers still have to pay? UK business sellers still have to pay. So these are my thoughts. They did it for a reason. They always do it for a reason. They always do it for a reason. Where they get in their butt kicked by Vinted, Depop, all of those ones that do not have any seller fees, perhaps. And the UK is a totally different market from the United States. So this is my thought. This is a hot take. If they are willing to wipe away all the fees for private clothing sellers in the name of keeping clothing out of the landfill, in the name of sustainability, hot take. Why don't they just wipe out all the pre-owned clothing fees worldwide? If it's really about keeping clothing out of the landfill, why did they not remove the fees for business sellers? Why do they not remove the fees in the United States? Why do they not remove the fees worldwide? If it is really for the environment, really for sustainability, why? That's my question. Jeremy says, when can people see the Gary Vee video? Interesting question, because last week I asked people, I said, do you guys want to see other videos or do you guys only want to see flea market domination? And overwhelmingly, there were some people that did want to see other stuff. Overwhelmingly, people said they only want to see flea market domination. So since people only want to see flea market domination, then the Gary Vee video might never come out. KT Treasures said they're starting a new venture selling on HiBid, all the stuff they usually list on eBay so they can niche down to just clothes. Very good. So everyone, the chat spoke. You guys said you guys only want to see flea market domination. So like I have a lot of cool videos, but if we don't want to see them, I'll keep them in. I'll keep them in the vault. Maybe PSA will come along and buy the vault. Claude, first live stream. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming through. Benjamin said they are in Mississippi, so really close to Florida. Do you say it's worth my time to travel out there for sourcing purposes? I mean, you could probably go to like Atlanta or Kentucky or to Texas or to Louisiana, much easier, but I think it is worth traveling to wherever the items is. And on my videos, I go 5 miles away. And here's the secret, guys. If I go 5 miles to a flea market, that's 5 hours back home too. So if I go 5 hours to a flea market, it's 5 hours back home. That's a 10-hour round trip just to go to a flea market. So sometimes you got to hit the road. Sometimes you got to put boots on the ground. You got to go to where the inventory is, unfortunately. Armani says they don't accept returns. Buyer sent a does not fit return, but on their own and not through eBay returns. Am I liable and what should I do? If they sent it back already, then just issue a refund. If they sent a return request through eBay and you do not accept returns, if it does not fit, you should have the opportunity to deny it. But just accept the return. Be a team player. Sold once, it'll sell again. When you decide on a thrifting route, how far of a drive distance would you max out if you live in an area that isn't dense and you have to drive 30 minutes to each new thrift? So I don't know. That's going to be subjective to everybody. For me, my longest route was about an hour out, and then I worked my way back in. But that's going to be different for everybody. I'm not afraid to go where the items are. I'll drive and I'll go get it. Were you in Pine Island Ridge Goodwill yesterday? No, I have not been to a thrift store around here and since before COVID, just about. Any advice on how to wholesale thrifted clothes? If you want to be the wholesaler, you got to do like any other business, and you have to put the word out. You have to advertise. You have to acquire the customer. You have to deliver a good product, and you have to make sure that the customer is going to reorder. So if you are going to wholesale, if you want to get into that business, you have to get the word out. People have to know you. If people do not know you, they cannot give you money. They cannot buy your items. Awakening Appalachia said they did a deep dive on Greg Norman today. Bad product, but found the best items to pick. Hope others gain value from it. Greg Norman is a tough one. There are a couple things that do sell for it, but tough brand. Benny says, did I ever use Turbo Lister back in the day? I did not. Answered Alan's question earlier about the bulk shipping. Do you send out a newsletter or discount? How often? I do. I send them out every single day. So Laura says she's only missed one live. So you're in the lead. You have a couple of people have seen 13. So Laura, you have the silver medal right now. Yesenia says we still haven't met Miss Tech, but would she be open to read you the questions in the chat and co-host this call? Even if she did it incognito, might break the chat record. She said she will come on once I meet a certain threshold on subscribers. Once I get 1 million subscribers, she said she'll come on. So we got a long way to go. We need to get more people in the chat. We need to tell more people about the channel. We need to tell more people to like, subscribe, because I never tell anybody to like and subscribe. We need to. I never say it, so you guys got to help me out. You guys got to tell your friends, tell your family. I never say like, I never say subscribe. If I make good videos, people will want to watch. Cap says they want to see more eBay store rescues. Definitely, that's in the works. I will make more. When I travel throughout the whole country, which I plan to do within a year or so, I want to meet a bunch of people. If you got a good store, you got a struggling store, I want to come through. I want to meet a bunch of people in every single state. I don't care if the entire trip around the whole country takes me a whole year. I want to meet as many people as possible, talk to as many resellers as possible. Um, I will do a lot of reseller rescues, believe me. Is it best to keep track of your inventory based on average costs or individual costs? Thank you, Barbara. So I think in the beginning, individual line by line is the best way to go. Until you get a good fundamental understanding of fees, how much you're making, how much you're losing, how much you make on shipping, how much you lose on shipping. And once you have a good fundamental understanding on how fees work, then you can go into the average cost and things like that. Oh, chat jumps. Holy cow. All right, we're back. Is Miss Tech going to start a YouTube channel doing haul videos? I doubt it. Thank you, Michelle. We got 200 likes. Way to go. Good work, guys. But there's a lot more people in here. Um, does Miss Tech call you Tech? That's a good question. Oh my goodness. The record for people in here is 661 people. That was 4 weeks ago. When listing Olympic shirts, do you lead with the shirt brand, the year, the city? Do you include winter, summer? So I lead with Olympic shirt, men's size, color, keyword. So Atlanta, 1996 Summer Games, 90s, things like that. Or I would do Olympic shirt, gender, size, Salt Lake City, Winter Games, things like that. If it has a particular sport, I would put it on there too. 32, $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Not necessary at all, but I do appreciate it. I'm just here answering questions, helping everybody out. Once you start making profit, how much should I pay myself? How much should I reinvest? How much should I save? Great question. I have a podcast. If you search YouTube, put Tech and Sports, Techonomics. I have a great podcast that I bust out the whiteboard behind me. I go through it pencil to paper and I break down all the accounts, our working capital, our business savings, what we pay ourselves, reinvestment into capital, all of that stuff. Tech and Sports, Techonomics, definitely check out that podcast. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Not necessary at all. Thank you very much. So carry at home, chamois. Everyone's saying chamois. You know what other one I get messed up? I get what is the denim? CHAMBOIS, chambray. I get that one messed up too. That's like French, or that's a different language. I have hard enough time speaking English. Chambray. I get that one messed up a little bit too. You don't have to be that smart to be a reseller. All you have to do is the same thing every single day. You don't have to speak a foreign language like chamois or chambray. You don't have to know French. All you have to know is good items and list them on eBay. You don't have to be that smart. Would like to see a deep dive video so we can learn about different brands. I did a deep dive in my third video. It's titled, I sold a $1,400 item to Travis Kelce. On the back half of that video, I do a deep dive into Nike and to Jordan brand, and I show you guys how to do it. So that way you can you can implement it and you could do it yourself. So that video I did already. It's my third video. Check it out. Chambray, Chamae. I think that's French. Michelle would know that. Michelle, she French. So Alan says removal of fees in the UK is to compete with Vinted, which is now massive in the UK. That's right. How do I find a flea market in or close to Houston, Texas? A good one like the ones you go to. You go to the Google machine, you type in your area, you go look at the pictures that are on it. And if the pictures look good, you go to it. That's where you go. Crystal says you could start a second channel of non-flea market videos. I'm not doing that. I believe in one eBay store, one YouTube store. That's it. I'm not doing multiple eBay stores, multiple YouTube stores. Not doing it. Tina says the flea markets aren't currently open in her area. A lot of people have said that they're going to start opening up in May. So for the ones where it is seasonal, get out there in May. Good luck. Is the flea market Is the eBay market oversaturated, or can you still make really, really good money full time? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people in the group that are crushing it. I think last year, conservatively speaking, that we were responsible for over $100 million in sales in the group, conservatively speaking. Out of everything that I saw, conservatively speaking. Al says, I don't know if you like show and tell in the group or YouTube live more. I love show and tell. You guys come with the heat in the morning. It gets me pumped. It gets me energized. I know when I stop that live, I am ready to conquer the day. I love show and tell in the morning time. I love show and tell in the morning. Nick says they recently got an email from eBay saying they had to cancel an order due to a customer's profile not being active anymore. I sent the jacket to them. You don't have to do anything, my man. Just keep it pushing. Oh, chat jumped. I was so close to beating you guys. The chat jumped so close for, oh my goodness. All right, back in action. All right, a lot of stuff, a lot of questions. Great job. Any thoughts on using automated cross-listing platform? I personally have no experience with cross-posting, so I am not the best person to ask about that. How do you balance your family and work? I just do it all. Second my feet hit the ground, we're rocking and rolling. I had a long day today. It's almost 9 o'clock p.m. Still rocking and rolling. I'm all gas, no breaks, 100%. Ask my family how they deal with me and work, because they tell me to go back to work very often. So ask them, how do they deal with me? That's the real question. Because I got to find balance. Sometimes they tell me, hey, go get unbalanced. Go get unbalanced and get away from me for a little while. Tammy says, can't imagine following me around at the flea market. You better have your running shoes on. I'm out there. Matthew says, what does eBay's policy say about washing real fur coats? The pre-owned clothing policy is everything has to be clean per eBay standards. You can take it to a dry cleaner. You can do what you got to do. You got to get it done. So we are at 530 people. 661 is the record. What would you say is a sweet spot percentage-wise to make watchers into buyers? It's going to be tough. I don't know. I've always had luck at like 33% off, but it also depends on where you price your items, what the starting point is. So, Benny, that's a loaded question. Try to catch me, Benny. That's a loaded question. For me, my price point, 33% usually does good. All right. So, hold on. We have a new record in the building. New record. 250 likes is a new record. 661 in the chat is a record for chat. So, everyone, round of applause to everyone in the building. We got 250 likes. That is a new record. Let's see what we end up with. But that is a current record. Right now, we are record breaking on likes. Record breaking on likes. I love to see it. I like to break records if you guys didn't notice. Okay, very good. I think, did we catch up with the chat? Oh, yeah. Tina, you got me on that one. I cannot for the life of me say this word. Swarovski. Swarovski. I can't say it. Swarovski. I can't do it. I could barely speak English. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Cannot do it. Has carry at home become a trend? How many other people trying to do day in the life of the tech challenge? I don't know, but Carrie's still alive. I want Carrie to do month in the life of tech challenge and then do year in the life of tech challenge. I would love to see that. Can you set combined shipping automatically at checkout? You can. You can go into your promotions manager and they have the volume order discount inside of the dropdown. You can do it. It is in there. KTX, do I understand you have wholesale business? Can you explain what that is? I do. I get the items, I make sure they're great items, put them on a pallet, send them out to the customer. Customer reorders a couple of weeks later, and I keep getting items, keep sending it out. Does your heart twinkle when you come across a single stitch sleeve in anticipation what the graphic is? No. My heart doesn't twinkle for anything clothing related, unfortunately. I am very jaded. I have seen everything. It takes a lot to get me excited. There's only like 2 things on the bucket list. Um, Alan says they're about to start a new eBay clothing store in the UK. How many items should I list for a store opening? I don't know, 1 a day, 2 a day. A commitment to something, 1, 2, 3, 5 a day. Develop that habit, get consistent. But just try to find the best items that you can in the beginning, throw them up on eBay, put a great listing up, great price. And hopefully, you do the best that you could do. But it is all a learning process. Oh boy, chat jumped again. What is your accent? Is it just Floridian? Probably. Floridian high school education. That is my accent. How do I determine which of your group to start? I only got one. I just got one group. That's it. Benny says he didn't mean to ask a loaded question. I appreciate that. Hey, Benny Stratton, that guy comes with some great comments. I read them all. Sometimes they're as long as a CVS receipt, but Benny, you have my word. I read every single word of that CVS receipt because you be coming with the heat in the comments. What is your best advice for single parents out there? I have a kid of 10 months. Then he spends summers with his dad in another state. It's a lot. How did you do it? It is a lot. I can definitely sympathize. I have been there. I have been there. I have been there. My advice is not the greatest advice. It is, you got to work in time blocks. You got to work around the kid. But I did a lot of the work when he went to sleep. So whenever he went to sleep, your family can have a sacrifice, your business can have a sacrifice, or you could sacrifice. And it was always me that sacrificed. So I went without a lot of sleep for a very long time because I wasn't going to sacrifice my son, my family. I wasn't going to sacrifice the business because I depended on the business to make sure that, we had a roof over our head, we had food in our stomach. So the sacrifice always came down to me. And there were a lot of times where I didn't get a good amount of sleep, but I had to wake up and I had to do it again. So unfortunately, there's no great, perfect way to do it. Maybe you can get a family member, a friend to watch the kid for a couple hours a week where you can knock out some stuff. If you can't, the way that I was able to do it, but I'm not going to advise anybody else to do it that way, but just I was always the sacrifice. So I always got the short end of the stick. So I would never advise anybody else for that, but that's what I had to do, unfortunately. What do you think it means if you get a bunch of views and watchers, but no one is biting? It could be that the price is too high and people are seeing if anyone is going to buy this item. Send out offers, get more aggressive on the offer, drop the price a little bit, see what's happening. Can't see you ever stop doing eBay. Do you plan on sourcing while traveling? So I'm always going to do eBay. I'll have a little hat store, maybe list 5, 10, 15, 20 items a day just for fun. I love eBay. I love reselling. I love finding stuff, love selling stuff. I really love doing it. And after doing it every single day of my life for 15 years, all day, every single day, like, I'll still do a little tiny hat store in the garage just for fun. Will I be outsourcing when I'm traveling? Maybe I'll stop at some flea markets here or there. Maybe hit a couple thrift stores here and there, and then just give it to people that I meet along the way. So I get a lot of comments that say stuff like, oh, I'm in like Kalamazoo and I can't find anything. I dare you to come to Kalamazoo and see what you can find. I'm coming to Kalamazoo and I'm finding stuff. And I'm gonna show it. So like I have all those comments, I have screenshots of those. And if you were like Harold in Kalamazoo and you have ever wrote, you can't find nothing in Kalamazoo, I'm coming to Kalamazoo and I am finding stuff. I'm making a video and I'm giving it to somebody in Kalamazoo. That's what I'm doing. Do you have any vintage hard good resellers in your group? We absolutely do. We have Carl, who is maybe the king of reselling. That guy has 40 years of reselling experience. That guy put on an absolute clinic last week on Thursday when he did his flea market video. He had an overhead camera, he had a diorama, he had props, he had everything labeled, he had different setups and configurations for different kind of spots that they can give you at flea markets. Carl, that guy, he knows everything. So yes, we do have vintage hard good collectors. Absolutely. Uh, are there any competitions with prizes in the reseller greatness group? I would imagine there's a game where one reseller who wins a car for having the higher percentage in growth. So Michelle, she's running a challenge right now where, if you're consistent and you do the things that are involved in the challenge, every single week she does a drawing and she sends out some swag. So yeah, we have giveaways and I have all types of ideas for prizes. And hey, I just want to see people win. And if I got to entice him to win a little bit, if Michelle got to entice him to win a little bit, I can speak for her. We are all for it. How many hours a night did you sleep at the peak of your eBay career? That's from Damien. I mean, I don't really sleep a lot anyways. Like last night I went to sleep, I don't know, 1 o'clock, woke up 4:30 to start the Australian sellers call. And I really never like went back to sleep after that. So like I'm running on like 3.5 hours right now. And as you can see, I got all the energy. So I don't really, I don't really sleep a whole lot. So Alan got it. Swore off ski. That sounds much better than what I said. What do you do with old stuff in your store over 1 year? So you could do a markdown sale. You can increase promoted listings. You can reevaluate the listing, put better keywords, put a better price, fix your item specifics, put a better title. You can send out more aggressive offers to watchers. You can drop the price. You can run an auction. You can take the item off of eBay. You can have a garage sale, flea market, sell it to someone else, send it to a thrift store. There's a lot of stuff. All right. We've been on for an hour. I'm almost done with the chat. Maybe I should have asked what level to start off with the group. Start off with the middle level, $1 a day. If you cannot make more than $1, I will give you a refund. We have no refunds because no one has made less than $1. When it comes to taxes, bookkeeping, is there anything you wish you knew or did before that benefited your business? So I was lucky. My mom is a CPA and we always did the taxes together. And I have learned a great amount by doing my taxes with my mom for a very long time. There did come a point where my taxes, due to all the businesses, got pretty complicated. And my mom didn't want to be the reason why I got an audit if she made an honest mistake or something. So she handed over control of the taxes to someone else. It just was too much for her mind, too much for her conscience, to have her son get an audit because she made an honest mistake. So now I do have a company that I work with locally, but no, I was very lucky and I'm very by the numbers, I'm very by the book. So that kind of stuff kind of comes easy to me and it kind of makes sense. Like the tax code like makes sense. So no, but also I was lucky. I could call my mom and ask her a question and she is no shenanigans scaredy cat. So like she would always err on the extreme side of caution. So like if I had something that was like even close to a gray area question, it was nope. So I was very lucky. Um, we have a new record in the chat for thumbs up. What's the record? Um, very good. John says he's late. What did you miss? Well, you guys go back to the beginning, my man. I can't give a summary of an hour. Yeah, Carl, that's right. Carl's very good. Carl's great. All right, let me jump over to the Instagram machine I have on my page, Tech Tips for Resellers, right here at the top, Tech Tips for Resellers. I dropped some tips in there. There's a couple questions from those fine folks. They said, any tips for removing sweat stains from the armpits? That's tough. OxyClean is usually the best. Shout, washing, but those are tough. Any tips for removing those rush orange spots? Those are tough too. OxyClean. Bulk imports, it just doesn't feel right. Thoughts, resources. I have never done that personally. It's very easy to mess that up. How do you deal with electronics? Having to test them is killing them. Unfortunately, that is one of the main reasons why I switched to clothing. You don't have to test a t-shirt. Bold Finds. I love my guy Bold Finds. UK offering 0% fees for private sellers. What would be your play if in the USA? Well, I have exceeded private seller status, so I would just keep on keeping on, my man. Do you have to add all item specific? Okay to leave out if you're not sure. It is okay to leave it out if you're not sure, so long as it is not a required item specific. It is if it is required, then you have to do it. This is a great thing for most people to do. All the drop downs, Google every single one of those drop downs. Make a notebook if you have to, but it's right there. Go to Google Images, go to Google, get the definition, and get a picture. They're all right there. Do you always include measurements in your photos? Always. Do you use the best offer option or only buy it now? I use best offer. What is the best way to calculate cost of goods when buying a large quantity? Very easy. If the deal's $1,000 and you have 100 pieces, you divide 1,000 by 100, it's $10 per piece. Does it make a difference in sales? Do seller or buyer pays return shipping? So eBay tells you if you do free shipping, you will get increased placement in return in search. So increased placement in search should give you more sales because you do have more visibility. If you are able to do 1-day handling and free returns, then you can get increased visibility, 10% discount on final value fees. You do get a little bit of help on feedback removal, not much anymore, but it's better than having no returns. And you do get the ability to offer up to 50% if somebody does misuse returns. So I'm all for free returns. I've been doing it for very, 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 very long time. Are you into trading cards? If so, did you ever sell any at one point? I never bought trading cards. I do look at them. I do keep up with them a little bit, but I never bought them. I think trading cards is like too much gambling for me. I'm a big chicken. So I used to go on the blowout card forums all the time. I used to do a lot of buying on blowout card forums. But I do keep up with them. I've sold a couple in my time. I sold a Upper Deck Michael Jordan Diamond Dimension card. It was serial number to 100. I sent it into BGS. I got a 9.5, which at that time was the highest rank that one had gotten. And I ended up selling that for $3,500. And this was about 10 years ago. And I think that the peak for that card was like $35,000, like during the shutdown. But I was very happy with $3,500 10 years ago, believe me. Is it possible to start a clothing brand on eBay? It is possible, but you'll probably have to run some paid ads. 315 likes in 1 hour. Way to go, guys. Good work, Michelle. Lachey says, have I ever set up at a flea market? I have not. I'm having trouble storing things in garbage bags in my attic, which is about to get hot. I have 700 things listed in a decent garage space, but have mice. Should I get a storage unit or just make do? If you could afford a storage unit and you have stuff in garbage bags and maybe have a mouse problem, I would get that stuff in a storage unit if you can afford it, absolutely. All right. Coming up to the end, you guys better make the chat jump because I almost beat you guys for 13 weeks in a row. H Win says they're learning so much from the group. I appreciate that. Can you do a Cribs reseller edition video? If I do a Cribs reseller edition video at my house, you will see I have no furniture. Mr. Sadie in the chat, my man, old school. I remember that guy from Global Voodoo and from Golden Finger Picker and Ronnie in the chat. Courtney says they just started, sold their first item yesterday. Congratulations. Should I be paying for an eBay store or wait until I'm selling enough to grow? You can get a small eBay store when you can afford it. You don't have to get one right off the bat. They do offer some more tools that I think are valuable and are important. But you don't have to get one from the jump. Do it when you can afford it. But congratulations on the first sale. Very good. You said we don't have to build a business unprofitable. If you started from zero, would you do it one item sold, go buy two more, rinse and repeat? Yeah, absolutely. Or take $50 or take $100 and you should be able to get back that. If you spend 100, you should be able to make a couple hundred because the profit margins for pre-owned stuff is astronomical. So if you spend $100, your average cost of goods is $5. You have 20 items. Those 20 items should sell for at least $20. 20 times 20, you got 400. So you should be able to turn that 100 into 400 before fees. After fees, let's call it 300. You get back your original 100. You have $200 profit in the bank. And then from there, you should never, ever, ever have to put any money into the bank. Angie says, when you spoke about the era of chips or a drink, it stuck with them. Was this a mental struggle for you to just say no to extras to self? I struggle to say no because of a bad time in my life. It was not a struggle because I didn't have an option. It was just that is what it was. I could only buy a chips or a drink that day. And the alternative was to rob or steal. And I wasn't about to do that. So it honestly wasn't a struggle. That was just the reality. And I was okay with it. Thoughts on eBay algorithm changing from less best match to pushing sellers to pay to promote more and more listings? I did a podcast on this. It is titled Promoted Listings Problem. Search Tech and Sports Promoted Listings Problem. I share my thoughts on exactly that. Best clothing racks. I don't know. They have a lot of websites. I have the Metal Racks 2-tier. They're not Z-bar ones that are on wheels, but they're Z-bar stationary ones, 2-tier. That's the one that I use. What made you want to start your store? How do you know it was the right time? I started my store when I started outsourcing the sourcing. So I had a bunch of people bringing me stuff. They were bringing me very, very cool stuff that was not eBayable, but it was very cool. So if you saw it on a rack, somebody would buy it. So I ended up accumulating a good amount of that stuff. An example of something that's not eBayable would be like a very, very cool neon all over print shirt. Very cool. Will sell for 20, 30, 50 bucks, maybe even $100 if it's crazy. But you can't sell that on eBay because the only person who's going to buy that is someone that searches very cool neon shirt, and no one's searching that. So I was accumulating a bunch of very cool shirts that are not eBayable. And there became a point where I knew that I was going to get more and more and more, like they were going to keep coming. And at that point, I decided to open up the brick and mortar store. It's been open for almost 6 years. I love it. It's great. Makes a lot of money. Never had to ring the cash register. So I cannot complain. When growing your store, what percent growth was your goal monthly? I always tried to do 30% year over year. I always exceeded that heavily, but like my goal was always 30%. All right. My pleasure, Dan. Thank you. All right. That is everyone in the chat. Chat has been defeated. 13 weeks in a row. World champion chat defeater. Right here. You guys are world champions and likers. Someone give me a liker count. We're going to timestamp this. The record still stands at 661. We gave the record a good run. We were in the high 500s. High 500s, but we need a like world record. So I appreciate everybody for jumping in. The chat has been completed. Thank you, everybody, for giving all of the questions. This was great, excellent, beautiful. If I missed your question, or if you have another question, or if you're catching this on replay, drop it in the comments. Happy to answer them. I answer everything. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. People are saying there's still questions. I don't have no questions on my screen. I am reading the bottom of the chat. No questions. I will give you 1 minute to submit your questions, but I am reading the bottom of the chat. You could put it right here. I have beat the bottom of the chat. Look, it's right here. There are no questions. There are no questions. I will give you 1 more minute to get 1 more questions in, 1 more chat jump, and I will rock and roll if you guys are rock and rolling. But there are no more questions on the screen. There are no more questions on the screen. And I don't have any more questions coming up at all. There's no more questions. Any thoughts on implementing a T-Mobile sidekick into your shirts? That would be a, I'll probably get sued to the Stone Age. There's no more questions. You guys are just talking. How to join your podcast? I don't know. Send me a message. If you want to be on the podcast, send it. Yesenia, ask it again. There's 1,000 people in the chat. Ask it again. Come on, guys. What advice do you have for opening up a brick and mortar store? Everyone has a good first week. Everyone has a good first month. You got to be able to restock. You got to be able to keep customers coming in the door. This is what I learned very quickly. If customers don't come in the door, I make no money. So you have to learn what your customers want. you have to advertise, and you have to make sure that you can restock continuously. Everybody can have a good first month, but you got to be able to have multiple good months. How come you order wholesale? Everything that I have sells to pre-existing customers that have been ordering for a good amount of time. So if I ever get anything extra, I will post it on my Instagram story. How much does summer slowdown affect your store, if at all? It slows down a little bit, but it's still highly profitable. I always use the summer slowdown as a benchmark for what my budget is for the whole year. So if I base my whole year on my worst month, it's going to be fine. So I also did a podcast on this. It's about 3 weeks ago, and it's titled "All Resellers Should Get a Part-Time Job." Listen to that podcast. Do you talk about decorating trends? We talk about reselling in the group. Does your store get affected if items get a zero? They don't say so, but I think that they give you a little bit of timeout. When do you recommend getting a CPA? Whenever you're in over your head, go talk to a CPA. They all have a free consultation. Remember, if it is free, you are the product, so they are going to try to sell you something. But if you don't know what you're doing, I recommend to get someone in there who does know what they're doing. How do you choose the 20 items that you list each day? The 20 items that I list are the next 20 in the stack. I don't have favorites. I do not pay favorites. I just list it as it comes. If I was given a monster truck, what color would I paint it? I would go chameleon paint, flip-flop blue to purple. That's what I would do. Chameleon paint. Do you price using market price? No, I do not. I look at what has sold recently, and that's how I price. I do not use that little box on eBay that says, here's what items sell for. I do not do that. Are you or Patreon going to start a district? I'm not starting a district. Sidney says, I'm tired. I'm not tired. I could do this all night. Ask the people in the group. I've done Q&As for 11 hours before. I have done Q&As for 11 hours. It ain't nothing. Would you get into the bin business? I would not. Yes, Peyton. So I beat the chat again. You guys got nothing. Do you use templates? I do not use templates. I use Sell Similar. I do not play Super Smash Brothers. Have I ever been too close to an alligator? I used to have a pet alligator. His name was Alberto Edgar Gator, or Al E Gator for short. I used to have a pet alligator. I showed Al E Gator on our group live call before. All right, you guys, I beat you again. You guys are done. You guys are out of here. I have a small store, but currently doesn't accept returns. I received a return request today, but says I'm not obligated to refund it. You can deny it without any consequences. I am a big proponent of free returns. All right, that's it. You guys are out of here. Finished, complete, done. Freddie says we need 14 more likes. 14 more likes will give us what? 400? How many coffees do you drink? I never drank coffee in my life. Yeah, now they're just spitballing just to prolong it. Do you think the learning curve to progress in eBay is an upside down pyramid, meaning a lot of low level progress? Yeah, I think so. I think that once you get it, and it just rock and rolls. All right. And I do have pet foxes. That's right. Pet alligator, pet fox, we got it all. All right, that's it. I can't prolong this thing forever. We got to stick a fork in it at some point. I've given round 2 questions. I have done. There you go. You win. I got nothing else. Jay Cardona, we got beat. That's it. It's a wrap. You guys got beat. The chat has thrown in the towel. That's it. All right. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody for hanging in there. If you still have more questions, post it in the chat. Thank you very much. 400 likes. That is beautiful. We appreciate it. When is the merch dropping? We're going May 1st. 405 likes. I appreciate that. Hats off to you guys. 661 is the record for the most people. 405 likes is the record for the most likes. Hats off to you guys. Congratulations. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate it, you guys. It is, I don't take it lightly, believe me. I really appreciate all you guys. So Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Till next time, next week, we'll see you on Friday. I got a great podcast coming out with my man Isaiah. And then we'll have a good video out for you on Monday. So if you missed any of the videos I dropped recently, check them out. You missed any of the podcasts I dropped, check them out. You missed any of the Q&As, check those out. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. As always, say it with me in the chat. Say it with me in the chat.